Good evening, friends. Meeting again in the session of philosophy. We are discussing regarding the 11th chapter, the symptomatology. In fact, most practical chapter from Stuart Close, where he is dealing with directly with the case taking and many aspects of case taking, he has tried to explain over there. After starting with the materia medica, he explained that symptoms are very important. It is the language of the disease, and that language is expressed in different manner. That expresses through the signs, that expresses through the symptoms. And there are varieties of symptoms. Some are important from homeopathic point of view, some are important from clinical point of view. Some are important only to diagnose the case. So we must be able to differentiate those symptoms. And then he explained there are two important types of symptoms. The first variety is subjective symptom and another is objective symptom. The subjectives are the symptoms which are felt by the patient and not observable to an observer are called as subjective symptoms, and which are most essential part of the case in case of homeopathic case taking. Because subjective symptoms always defines the individuality of the person. And that's why in order to find it out, right remedy, we always require subjective symptom. As compared to this, the objective symptoms, those symptoms which are felt by the patient as well as observable to an observer are called as objective symptoms. And objective symptoms are more generally called to be a signs, generally explains the pathologies. Those are the end products, end product of the disease. And those are not the features with which we can find it out a remedy. Yes, we can label, of course, to the disease, but we cannot prescribe on the basis of that. And that's why those are not so important from homeopathic point of view in order to come to the conclusion of a remedy. And then he started explaining about the totality of the symptoms, and totality of the symptoms as explained by Hahnemann in the seventh aphorism. It is an outwardly reflected picture of the internal essence of the disease, that is of the affection of vital force. And then he explains the difference between portrait, which has been explained in earlier aphorism, sixth aphorism. Portrait includes each and everything about the individual. It includes the normalities as well as the abnormalities. So the futures related to that human being in the state of health are also included in the portrait of disease, as well as regarding disease also they are present. Out of which you will require the totality of the symptoms, which is exactly the language of the disease, and to which he is highlighting. Then he explains over there, in order to get the true totality, what it requires. Then how you will going to understand the totality. The first point which he has explained, that it represents the disease and it represents the remedy, and as a language represents the thoughts. And then first point which he has explained is very important. The totality of the symptoms means first the totality of each and individual symptom. And this point we were discussing. Every aspect of it is important. If we are getting in a case the true totality of a single symptom, means you are getting the complete symptom, where there is a location, where there is sensation, where there is a modality, where there is a concomitant, then that symptom becomes characteristic enough, gives you identity or gives you individuality of that specific remedy. It happens very commonly, and that's why it has its own significance. So unless and until you get that complete symptom, it is not possible to get individuality. And this represents the totality. So if a patient comes and patient is coming to you with a diagnosis that patient is having liver cirrhosis, you can't come to the conclusion of a remedy. Nothing is there. On the basis of name of disease, you cannot. If patient explains that he is having very severe pain in right hypochondriac region, and wherever he gets the pain in right hypochondriac region, in the same area posteriorly below the scapula, he gets the pain. It radiates from front to that side. he is having yellowish vomiting, there is a bilious attacks which happens to be there, his bilirubins are increased, and that pain is generally aggravated after eating. All those things, if it happens over there, then it definitely you can come to the conclusion it might be a chelidonium. Because symptom, as it starts becoming more characteristic or complete, then it has a significance. And this is what he is explaining over there. Then some picture solving. So this is what he is explaining over there, that these are the symptoms which are very, very essential. And in order to get the complete symptom, he explained over there the old definition. A symptom which has location, sensation, modality is called as complete symptom. But Boning Hussain has added one more point over there: location, sensation, modality, and concomitant. If they are there, then that symptom becomes a complete symptom. So we are on the page number 152, and I think we were on the part of modality. So we'll just learn that part. By modality, we refer to the circumstances and conditions that affect the or modified symptom, of which the conditions of aggravation and amelioration are most important. Dr. William Borick well said, the modalities of the drug are pathognomic symptoms of the materia medica. And this is what we were discussing. Borick has said this because these are the things which guides you towards exactly what is there, what is wrong with the patient, and how what remedy it denotes. So these are things which guides you towards the remedy. Sometimes it might be a time modality, sometimes it might be a specific circumstance modality, sometimes it might be a environmental modality, whatever it may be, but it has its own significance. By aggravation is meant an increase or intensification of already existing symptom by some appreciable circumstance or condition. Aggravation is also used in homeopathic parlance to describe those conditions in which, under the action of deeply acting homeopathic medicine or from other causes, latent disease becomes active and expresses itself in the return of old symptoms or the appearance of new symptoms. In such cases, it represents the reaction of the organism to a stimulus of a well-selected medicine and is generally curative in its nature. So if you get the aggravation modalities very clearly, we'll take simple example. Patient comes to you, he is having the GI trouble, indigestion problem, and he used to say to you that, doctor, I am getting very much indigestion. I used to get every day the full of gases. My abdomen is full of gases, and when I pass it, then only I feel better. And generally, what happens? I used to take food at 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock, and at around 4 o'clock, my whole abdomen it gets distended, basically, and then between 4 to 8, I used to get more aggravation. I'm literally disturbed during that time, and that later it comes down. If he is giving you those modalities, he is having the flatulence over there, it is in lower abdomen, if it is getting better by passing platters, he is having aggravations very specifically are 4 to 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. Yes, you know, you are coming to the remedy only because you have got the modality. You are coming to the lycopodium because you know the only on one single symptom you are coming to it because it has sensation, it has modality, it has time modality, it has amelioration modality, all things, and because of which the remedy becomes more and more clear. This is what he want to explain over there. And then he explained one more terminology which is called as an amelioration. Amelioration is technically used to express the modification of relief or diminution of intensity in any of the symptoms or in state of patient as a whole by medication or by influence of any agency, circumstance or condition. So this is again one more thing which modifies the symptom and which gives the characteristicness to the patient. So you are called to see a patient for the who is suffering from asthma, and you are not the patient was not able to come to your OPD, patient is in agony and patient is at home, and you go to the visit, and you see the patient was lying down with severe breathlessness and everything is closed, and he has covered his whole body. He has kept only his head out, open, and he was lying down and lot of breathing, and he is continuously, there is wheezing going on. What do you observe? What is that? That guides you toward the remedy. Patient was lying like this and he is breathless and severely breathless, and everything is closed over there.
Hypersol.
No hypersol. Why hypersol is, you are thinking in the direction of patient is chilly. But patient never, here patient is lying down. That is more important. Breathless patient never lies down. This patient is lying down. Whenever patient lies down in the breathlessness, feels better, and he is absolutely chilly, it is the only sorinum in your materia medica. Patient lies with hands wide apart, who is breathless. It is the sorinum and too chilly at the same time. Acetic acid is better by lying on abdomen. Acetic acid is lying on abdomen is better. See the modalities, how you can come to the conclusion, because modalities are important. If the patient comes and patient is having breathlessness and he is telling you he wore the sweater and he is in front of you and he is like this, I feel better in this position. Now your remedy is, which is your remedy?
Hypersol.
Yes. Now it is a parcel. Correct. When the patient makes windpipe straight, looking up is a parcel. So see, the modalities are very important. They are the differentiating points. Here the hyperself is there. Sorinum is better by lying with hands wide apart, and absolutely chilly is sorinum. So amelioration, that is one more condition which gives you directly a certain characteristic entity with which it is easy to reach to the remedy. So this is another point which he has explained. So this is first point regarding the totality. Second point, now he is turning towards the totality of the symptoms, means all the symptoms of the case which are capable of being logically combined into a harmonious and consistent whole, having a form, coherency, and individuality. Technically, the totality is more or may be less than the mere numerical totality of the symptoms. This is sentence which is asked for 20 marks for the students. Totality is more than a mere numerical totality of the symptoms. Explain in detail. What it means, this is too important. It includes the concomitants or the form in which symptoms are grouped. So he's explaining here one more point. You get 100 symptoms, but you don't come to the conclusion because all symptoms are vague. It doesn't have a meaning. You know the diagnosis, but you are in jungle of symptoms which are having no significance. You are in confusion. You cannot come to the right remedy. And that's why numerical totality is not useful for you. The totality which is useful for you is the actual totality which is characteristic enough. So what he says over there, the totality of symptoms means all the symptoms of the case which are capable of being logically combined into the harmonious and consistent whole, having the form, coherency, and individuality. Now you get the patient where patient is explaining you a certain thing. Patient talks to you in such a sentence, doctor, I feel that I have a very severe burning of palms and soles at night. I feel my body is hot. That's why it might be there. Don't you feel that? Also, there is sometimes burning in my stomach also. My doctor said that your body is hot. That's why you are having such problem. He has prescribed me a remedy, but it never worked. So what do you feel? It might be because of that, na. This is how he talks. And he is having the burning in stomach. He is having burning palms and soles. And then he says, I have to wash my extremities, my feet, with absolutely cold water before sleeping. Then I feel then I'm able to get the sleep. Otherwise, I could not. Then he explains that many times it happens, doctor, that I could not get early sleep. It requires lot of time. Many thoughts comes in my mind. Generally, it happens that I used to plan many things before sleeping, and that's why I could not get the sleep. Now see, whatever this patient is expressing, every symptom is related with another symptom. If you logically correlate each and everything, you come to the same remedy. If you repertorize, you will get the same remedy. When patient talks in such a egoistic tone, the first rubric is egotism. Second sentence which he has used, I feel. I feel is having a meaning. I feel means he is telling his own theory. I feel, doctor. Theorizing. Third important thing, burning of palms, burning of soles, better by cold application. Third important symptom, sleeplessness because of many thoughts, ideas abundant, plans many. Every rubric, if you correlate, you will logically correlate and you'll come to the sulfur. That's all. Very easily you are coming to the remedy. Because all symptoms are correlated with each other and defining the same remedy with different varieties of it. This is very important. When you are dealing with the patient, you must be able to find it out a detailed case so that you can correlate one symptom with another. It becomes very easy for you to reach to the right totality. And this is what exactly the totality is. So it should not be just numerical totality. The totality which you are taking out from the patient or you are getting from the patient should have a coherency. It should have a typical form which should able to define the individuality of that person. So you can get many futures about that patient in that totality, because of which you are coming to the self. Hahnemann and Organon, paragraph 7, calls the totality this image or picture reflecting outwardly the internal essence of the disease, that is, of the suffering of the life force. The word used is significant and suggestive. A picture is a work of art which appeals to our aesthetic sense as well as to our intellect. Very important thing. These are the words which are very specific. This is the philosophy. Totality of the symptoms is nothing but it is an outwardly reflected picture. The word Hahnemann used as a picture. What is picture? Picture means in Marathi we call chitra. What is there? You can find it out the meaning behind the picture. How do you look
The
toward the
complete
picture?
case.
How do you look toward the picture is very important. What it reflects is very important. It requires intellect to understand the picture. It is not just looking toward the things you are able to grab, but if you are intellectual, you are going to get something which is very essential for you. It reflects something. Patient is sitting in front of you and it reflects the picture. Patient is sitting and like this, he is continuously like this. Yes, he is reflecting something very essential for you. What is that you look for? You get the frowning over there, which is visible to
Lycopodium.
your eye. This is frowning,
Lyco,
very important. This is
lycopod.
No, lycopodium is not. There are many remedies under the frowning. You should not go to directly to the remedy, but first understand what picture reflects. You should not go directly to the remedies. You open the repertory, find it out, frowning, many remedies are there. Sepia is there, sulfur is there, NV is there, lycopodium is there. There are many more. Stramonium is also there. There are many, out of which you have to come. But this is what something you have to read. Then second thing, you observe the face is absolutely greasy. Yes, picture, you catch it, find it in the repertory. Second important hint. Then you see that he is continuously, there is a continuous movement of his wings, nasal wings, motions of wings fan like that is another rubric in note chapter. You can find it out. Third rubric. See what you are doing. You are just watching the patient and you are getting the picture. This is what Hahnemann wants to explain, that it is an outwardly reflected picture of the internal essence of the disease. And if you observe that patient is coughing and he is having the pneumonitic patch and he's coughing and he's having that motions of wings fan like continuously, then you are getting something very important. Then you get the rubric, motions of wings fan like a pneumonia in. And you get only two remedies over there, antimalarial lycopodium. So this is what is an external picture of the internal essence of the disease. You have to catch all those things, and those are essential in order to get a right remedy. The word is significant and suggestive. A picture is a work of art which appeals to our aesthetic sense as well as to our intellect. Its elements are form, color, light, shade, tone, harmony, and perspective. Every point is very important. Its elements are form, color. You just go on observing how the patient looks like. Every person has its own. Your materia medica, it is written in the first few lines. Dark complexion, fair complexion, everything. This is very important. Something is essential for you. You are getting over there. You have to catch. It has a light shade. How the person is talking. The communication. Patient talks in different sense. How he expresses, that is more important. Someone comes, he talks in a so politely. Doctor, I want to discuss with you. I want to say something. See the tone of voice. That is tone that you have to catch. This is something, this is individual. Someone talks very loudly. Dr. Arthur, he's talking in such a sense. You get another rubric, noise inclined to make noise. So you can catch all those shades of the individual which are reflecting his nature. That you have to catch. The way he presents, you get many things. So light, shade, tone, harmony, the perspective. As a composition, it expresses an idea. It may be sentiment or fact. So whatever the patient expresses, it might be sentiment, it might be fact, whatever it may be, but that is an individuality. What comes out is an individuality, and that is more important for you to catch because that reflects the individuality of that individual. So you should be a good artistic enough, and you should have that very specific intellect to catch and grab all those opportunities which patient is expressing, which you have to catch in order to catch a remedy. And these are very essential. That guides you towards the individuality. As a composition, it expresses an idea. It may be sentiment or fact, but it does this by the harmonious combination of its elements into a whole, a totality. So it is always like that. A patient is giving you whole thing. Everything denotes the same. It is not like that Sometimes it denotes one area and another, some points another. It never happens like that. It expresses as a whole, and then you get certain totality. In a well-balanced picture, each element is given its full value and its right relation to all other elements. So you get all those things and correlation of it one with one another, and because of which it becomes rather coming to the very clear conclusion of the remedy. So every symptom, what the patient expresses has its own meaning. You should be very careful and watchful when you are listening to the patient, what he is doing. Specifically when children are there, your observation plays a very vital role. What he does in your OPD, how much strong the child is, whether he comes boldly towards you or whether he is very much afraid of you, whether he is crying, if he is crying, why he is crying, what he is doing. There are many things which you have to be watchful, and that guides you towards the totality, and that totality is the characteristic totality in order to get a right remedy. I think we'll stop over here. Tomorrow we'll continue. Not tomorrow, we're going to meet directly on Tuesday. On Monday also, there will be a holiday. I'll not be available on Monday. So we'll meet directly on Tuesday with the same session. And today evening, yes, we'll start with the very, 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 very useful remedy from third year syllabus, but very common in practice is belladonna. And ample cases are with belladonna we can discuss. So today evening at 8 o'clock, we'll meet with belladonna. Is there any question related with this topic? We can have a chat. Yes, sir. So we'll meet at 8 o'clock. Thank you.